There you saw an MSNBC host crying about what happened on January 6th.
He and Taraji need to act together. They need to be in a show together with the fake tears
I'm
on
going
cue.
to say, in the words of Cat Williams, winners cannot allow losers to rewrite history.
This is an MSNBC news anchor talking about the dreadful January 6th insurrection.
You know it, and ensuring the peaceful transfer of power. And it's that serious. Joining me now in studio is Michael Fanone, former DC Metropolitan Police Officer, Courage for America Council member, and author of Hold the Line, The Insurrection and One Cop's Battle for America's Soul. Officer Fanone, I'm going to try to get through this. Thank you.
I cannot.
Years ago today. Please tell me your thoughts on this third anniversary.
Okay. So there you saw an MSNBC host crying about what happened on January 6th. Ladies, I want to get your response, Shelley. I want to start off with you before we get into the view.
Yeah. He and Taraji need to act together. They need to be in a show together with the fake tears on cue. Oh, they could command a lot of money, a lot of roles for that. They are full of it. I can't with these people, like Crystal said. These people are so phony. I mean, my aunt used to say, a phony is a $3 bill.
Yeah.
You cannot take them seriously. You cannot. Again, Trump has not been convicted of insurrection. And I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but this is just acting fodder. It's for the cameras.
Yeah. Crystal, I mean, he was in tears. And let me tell you, I don't think he's acting. These people believe what they actually believe.
Oh, yeah.
He was acting. Those were not. No, he had the tissue already prepared and everything.
I think the delusion is so strong.
They do believe it. Yeah.
I'm gonna say, in the words of Cat Williams, winners cannot allow losers to rewrite history. The fact of the matter is, the people who were at January 6th, we're speaking for 75 million people that voted for Donald J. Trump and believed that an election was shady, okay? Now, they behaved badly, a few of them, yes, okay, went up to the Capitol and set it off because they were mad. It was a lot of emotion. Kind of reminds me about something like Black Lives Matter,
exactly.
Right? But to say that these American patriots, most of them never even got a ticket in their life. They have not committed crimes or anything. To say that they are somehow criminals and want to overthrow the American government. No, they want to overthrow those losers like Nancy Pelosi and those people who say they care about democracy so much, and they refuse to listen to their constituents and then throw them in a DC jail without their rights.
Right.
And everything being taken from them. I refuse.
You mentioned BLM. Oh, I'm sorry. You mentioned BLM. You notice how on the left, all of these hoaxes, if you will, become the news. Even news. You talk about BLM. Don't mention George Floyd. How about let's correct the record with Michael Brown? His name on, and don't hands up, don't shoot. They don't want to go back and correct these records because
Breonna Taylor. Say her name. Oh, yeah, say her name, the drug dealer.
Right. Oh, well, before you get, speaking of these people that fire up these hoax and these untruths, miscommunication, misinformation.
I'm sorry.
Right. Is the View. They're talking about this now. They're actually talking about, I have a clip here about Trump being removed from the ballots. Take a look here. This is the first clip of the night from the View.
Maine recently became the second state to boot you-know-who off the ballot. They cited the same constitutional amendment. I'm going to say that again. The same constitutional amendment that Colorado did, which states that anyone who engages in insurrection is ineligible to run for political office. Okay, that's what the Constitution says. But now you know who is vowing to appeal, and some of his Republican rivals for the nomination think he should be allowed to stay.
You know, the thing is,
Here they are again.
This is black letter constitutional law.
Is it? Is it,
No,
Sonny?
it isn't.
You
No,
know,
it
she
isn't.
knows.
It basically says if you participated in an insurrection against this country, you may not hold office. You may not do it.
Say
And
that
some
one more
people,
time.
you may not.
Came from Jefferson Davis.
Jefferson Davis, because it's about the Civil War, and they did not want anyone who tried to really take over this country by force to be able.
All right. So here we are. I want to get you guys' response. Before I do that, the media is such liars, and it's propaganda, it's corruption. Trump tweeted out on January 6, 2021. He says, Trump, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violence! ! Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. That is not the words of a man leading an insurrection. This woman got her law degree out of a cereal box.
Right.
I want to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, again, Trump has been impeached twice, and he was not found guilty, if you will, convicted of insurrection. This is a civil war. What she failed to also mention is that during that time period, not only was there debate going back and forth, but the Republicans ultimately allowed the Southerners to come into the Union and still vote, not take away their rights. That's number one. Number two, it is not a classic black and white constitutional issue. If it were, we would not be here debating it, okay? So it's not at all. And the Constitution has not defined insurrection, which is why this will go to the Supreme Court. And thirdly, they talk about this Constitution and following the law only when it benefits them. How about in Maine, the Secretary of State is not an elected position. She just, decided with 3 people to show up at a meeting to take a man off the ballot. I don't care if it was someone that I did not support. It's not the process. It is what they're doing is they are trying to overturn the government and the foundation of it.
Yeah. I want to get your thoughts on this, Crystal.
Yeah, I agree 100% with what Shelley said. I love President Trump. But at this point, you guys, I really think that he should bow out anyway. Like, I don't think that this country deserves exactly what it's going to get. But when you're trying to take somebody off the ballot, as I stated before, the court of public opinion is not a formal institution that we honor here. So I don't care if you think that he engaged in insurrection. You think that he tried to overthrow the government. Good thing you don't get paid for thinking, Sonny.
Absolutely. Well, she does, but we all know they're propagandists. I mean, according to the National Review, they did a great article on this. It says, in order to constitute incitement to violence, according to the Supreme Court in its landmark Brandenburg v. Ohio case, speech must include intent and specific, not abstract, instructions to act.
Yeah,
it also required that the speech in question would likely produce imminent lawless action, which went a step further than the previous legal text.
Exactly. And again, like you said, just like they did when Trump talked about I think it was the Charlotte, when the lady was killed in the car.
Yes.
He told the people, they didn't put the whole clip on. They cut it out. You can find it. But again, they don't want to mention that he told those people to go home. He told them, no rioting. This is not, go and protest. Of course you can do that. We have a First Amendment right. But these people, all of a sudden now, these rights mean something. But how about during the scamdemic, these are the same people who applauded lockdowns. They applauded people being mandated to have injections just to keep their jobs and feed their families. These people are bull. They are phony. They are fake. I despise them.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with you, like the whole twisting his words. I mean, like the man clearly said with the Charlottesville, good people on both sides, you guys. That means he thinks that the people who want the statue down are good. He thinks that there's people who want the statue up are good. There's nothing confusing about his speech when he says peacefully and patriotically. But then they use the term, fight like hell. I said to one of my girlfriends the other day, I said, if I tell you, Crystal, if you tell me, Crystal, you got to fight like hell to save your marriage, or fight like hell. I said, stop trying to change the English language when it comes to this man. That is a very common term.
Right. Absolutely. And we know that's what they're all about, changing the English language. Nothing Trump said at his speech before the violence broke out was specific call for violence. Nothing. And it was much less an insurrection. And the vast majority of people that were there were peaceful. It was a small amount of people. And we saw the video in the beginning. That was just a small section of it, which they tried to cover up. A small amount of people were unruly compared to the vast majority of the people that were there.
Yeah, again, it was like you said, a small percentage of people were involved in the rioting and the chaos, which again, let's get the record straight. We never even condoned that. We called that out and said that was wrong. And it was so few people that many of people on the other side of the Capitol didn't even know that the rioting was going on at the same day, the same time. That's how few people it was. But not only that, remember when what's her name, Auntie Maxine,
exactly,
with her alligator feet, when she urged and what do you want to call it, encouraged, told people to get up in the faces of people out eating dinner,
make us proud.
Right. Remember when they supported these people going to the Supreme Court justices' homes and scaring their children and families? Remember that? Oh, that's okay. That's okay. But because they despise this man, Trump, and from the beginning, they have been out for blood.
So let me ask you, why does the left and mainstream media continue to push this insurrection garbage? Why are they doing it?
Because it works. It works. We have a sector of people that are lazy. And to me, I just feel like they just take the information that is fed to them. And it's so sad. Thank God for podcasts. Thank God for, like local people that are willing to speak up for the truth, because I'm telling you, the irresponsible nature of Americans are really going to put us in one of the situations.
Yeah, absolutely. It works. They have what is about a 50% divide, if you will, for or against in our country right now. We are pretty much demarcated, a lot of it around politics in our country right now. So of course it works. They are playing up their side. The problem is that our side doesn't do as good of a job.
Yeah. And another thing is, and we've said this on the show many times, they want to create chaos. They want to divide. They want to create an atmosphere of crisis and emergency that gives cover to their extreme and liberal actions. So they can create this idea of government can take care of you, of police state and things like this. And we see that this is what they're trying to do. This is the ultimate end.
Yes, and they want us to obey. They want, the goal is to get us to obey. But unfortunately, like our rights are endowed by God according to the Constitution. So patriots, we will never obey. Period. That's why
when I say stuff like that, I'm told I'm rebellious when I say stuff like that.
I called today and I posted it on my social media, and I don't care who has anything. Today is Patriot Day. I know they tried to make 9/11 Patriot Day, but unfortunately those people did not wake up the morning of 9/11 willing to risk it all for this country. The people who did are the people who walked into that Capitol, like it or not. Those are the patriots who cared about the future of our children and grandchildren.
Right. Let me add to that, Crystal. Let's not forget, we have several of them literally rioting in prisons in DC without even having a fair trial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes me so
speaking of trial.